when I have friends here, and we went to some like kid playground with them, and we do that often. And they have issues with their kids, and it's obvious that they're concerned. And I was on an edge to start telling them something, like many times. But that time, I sort of went over the edge and started telling them something. On the one hand, I understood I'm in a very bad position, like we have some friendly relationship, and here is me coming without being called or like a therapist. But then on the other hand, I saw they were so keen on trying to grasp it. One part of them was saying something to me, but the other part in their eyes, they were like fixed on me. I understand that they were looking for some solution for
Yeah.
lots of time, yeah. And here they've smelled the possibilities, but the format is bad. I would ask you, what would you do with Julia if you saw your friends and then they have their kids and they're having problems with their kids? Would you intervene or would
Wow.
you give an advice or would you like sit away and or do your inner work?
Don't you think it's a hard thing to handle?
Wow. That's a good topic, yeah.
I've lost a friend like that, by the way. You want to wreck a friendship? Make a comment about parenting.
Yeah, yeah,
Long time ago. There we all were, the kid on the beach, and the kid was screaming and throwing sand over everyone and over all the other kids, and the mother just kept appeasing the kid. Oh, darling. I can remember saying something to the mother, and just the look on her face, ice. It took time for us to regroup. 20 years later, I apologized. I said I thought it was very bad on my part to make a comment.
yeah.
She's a great person. I didn't do that well. It's a hard thing to
Mm.
handle. What's the
Yes.
situation with your friend?
There are twins. The two girls, 8-ish years old. They are always conflicting. When they play together, mostly one of them is always the victim, and she runs and she cries and she demands attention and she has to be consoled, right? I mean, she has to be taken care of. And the parents constantly have to get involved and they are sort of focusing on this one more, because she's the victim. And this victim is saying that the other one is doing some whatever bad things and stuff like that. So they are always being involved, being drawn into these situations. Even when the kids are playing on the playground, every 15 minutes this happens, and they are always alert, the parents, like, oh my God, is anything happening? Oh, now it's happening. So I need to go into console. Yeah.
And so on this particular day in the playground, you did something. What happened?
Yeah, I understand that I did that not in the right way, meaning like listening to you now, I understand there could be a better way of starting it. But then I have a nature of come and drop a bomb. I mean, that's my thing. I know it about myself,
Me too.
so it's not that I love it so much. It's okay. And I think it this way, if it comes several times to me in my mind, I mean, that it possibly meant to be blurted out somehow. It possibly meant to be brought to table. So I just suggested to talk, and they kind of gave some feedback, good feedback. They didn't say, okay, this is none of our business. Maybe because of their like sort of shyness, maybe they wanted to say it, but still, I felt a part of them would want to somehow talk about it, like what can be done,
Amazing.
possibly.
So you
Yeah.
said, do you want to talk about it?
I don't remember myself saying exactly, "Do you want to talk about it?" Because that's a good way to say it. I mean, I actually possibly started talking about it, so that's how it started. And they didn't say like, let's stop, or didn't give like some bad feedback that it's kind of none of my business. And okay.
Yeah. Why is parenting of kids such an incredibly sensitive issue? It is so hard to poke around in
I
parenting
don't
issues.
know, Julia. What do you think?
I think it's a great bringing up my children. I was very sensitive if someone wanted to criticize how I'm parenting, but it has a particular charge to it. Could it be that there are so many unspoken and hidden influences that get triggered when we talk about parenting? And I'm thinking this about my friend, my ex-friend that became my friend again. If I had said later, maybe not in the situation, that was really troubling for me what happened to Dad. Really love to talk about it with you. Maybe it's my stuff. Maybe it's got nothing to do with you, but I'd love a conversation about that. This conversation is making me aware that criticizing the kid, the parents are going to immediately want to protect their own child. It's just primal, isn't it? The lioness with her little cubs, you go and take one of her cubs. And then I'm thinking, in those situations, I've never really gone deep enough into my own disturbance. It's more like, why are you doing it like this? You should be doing it like that.
When I was there, first, what I know from what I learned is that in relationship like that, very often there is an identified uh, patient, like the one who is like suffering, and all the attention is on that person, while it's sometimes better to include all the system, the parents, the two kids, the parent, probably someone else of whom I don't know. So my idea was mostly that it was interesting to watch and to see the patterns. The part of me which likes seeing the patterns and likes understanding what's going on was there. And I felt that my main message was that maybe it's not the identified victim, this girl, and like maybe there's a different perspective in all this situation, and maybe it all has a lot to do with the parents, with what they can do. I mean, meaning not criticizing at all what you do with the kids. I understand, like I love how our teachers once taught us the ask yourself like not what's wrong with what's going on, but what's right with what's going on. Meaning, so it definitely right for their system,
Wow.
family system. So it's perfect.
Great question.
But yeah, so what's right? It's right. What goes on is right for them. But then what can they do as parents to sort of move forward with that? And to pick something up what's not picked up, and maybe that will change the whole interaction. So we talked about that a little bit. That went much easier, I mean, the girls are fine. I mean, no problem with me, like no relationship issue with me, no criticism towards the
Wow.
the parenting. But okay, we have a system, maybe there's a different perspective. And that was interesting, because they,
Wow. So
yeah,
you came from the perspective of curiosity.
yeah,
That's what I love about what you're saying. There you are in the playground. Difficult. How do you handle this? Your immediate reflex was curiosity. Wow,
right.
that's incredible. And
Yeah.
that enabled you, from what you're saying, to open up a conversation
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That was the
about the
thing.
entire system versus you're at fault as parents.
Yeah, about
Wow.
the entire system. That's really cool how you say it. And it was felt very weirdly as because when something is not picked, it's kind of it's here in the air and it's trying to catch
Yeah,
someone. It was catching myself, me, and I was thinking, what's that? What's the feeling that I'm feeling, which possibly is not only mine? The girls were, I could feel they were masters. They could be crying, laughing, whatever, making all these emotional spectrum was huge. And the
amazing.
parents
That's a
were
talent.
not emotional, they were like very stable, logical persons. And this emotional part was there unpicked. And I thought about that and we talked, and it actually turned out that they were saying, but we are like this. We are more like logic. They should be explained. It should be like this and like that. And I said maybe this part, which wants it
Oh,
like that, is sort of missing. And if you're more like that, then maybe the kid wouldn't have to be like that, that much. So there was an interesting direction
yeah.
because yeah, we hit an edge here. So now I understood that we are more or less a good case for therapy. So it was interesting to see all that happening.
That's very fascinating. You're bringing up some really complex and sophisticated ideas. Maybe we could unpick a few of them. What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
Well, the one thing that you're saying that this and that are not in effect of each other, but they're entangled. They bounce off each other versus one causes the other. So
Mm,
if one is more heightened emotions, the other side may be less emotional which is going to make this side more emotional. Eventually, they might flip if they go to their extreme. But if I just stay on my side and say, well, I'm just want to explain everything, then the other side is going to be somehow infuriated and just keep going and keep going. Whereas what you're saying, if I pick up the emotions, the other side hasn't got a lot of room to occupy those emotions because it's already taken up.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Maybe you can say it in an even better way.
I love the way you say it. Actually, you're saying that if you are able to occupy what's on the other side, like own it, then the other side
Really?
has to do something because what they
Yeah.
want to say is already being owned, and it's no point in
Yeah.
like staying there. It's like a law of physics that it has uh to switch like several, as far as I remember, there's something about particles having a spin. And like in some circumstances, two particular particles cannot have a similar spin. If one has this, the other has to have the other one. Yeah,
Yeah.
the same idea is here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, so I remember trying it in my life when my teacher said like I have similar things with my daughter many years ago. Was making some conflict. She was, she could fall on the floor and start crying and do stuff, which was weird and was freaking me out. And the teacher said like do something like that by yourself because well, think of your life, man. Like you actually have lots of reasons to fall on the floor and do the same. And actually, I do remember doing that when she was doing this crazy stuff. I fell on the floor and said, I'm sick and tired of this thing with you. Like I have problems at work and stuff like that. And here you are here crying on me, and I hate this and whatever. And I was really kind of making it really well, the scandal. So that she stopped crying and she said, like for a minute watching me, and they said, Papa, are you okay? Like, is everything
Oh,
okay with you? So that really worked. But I had to play. I mean, I was really, it was not typical for me to go in this stuff, but it was fun, lying on the floor and shouting and feeling as a kid on the floor. Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. Yeah. It reminds me when my kids were really little, I was with a friend. We were trying to do something, and the kids were just like playing around, throwing everything around, being totally wild. And so we looked at each other, had the same thought. We picked up the cushions, we threw them around. We were totally wild. We pulled everything out of the cupboards. We took all the plates out. We took all the food out of the fridge. We
Oh,
to an absolute extreme. The kids started going, no, no, you're not supposed to do that. It's wrecking up the whole space. No, you're adults. Don't do that. Adults don't do that. No, 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 no. Put it away. Put it away. No, we're not going to put it away. This is really fun. It was amazing to watch the flip,
wow.
just like you're saying as well. So
Yeah.
it doesn't work in every situation, obviously, but you have to really feel it, don't you find?
Yeah.
It's like you can't trick a child. Children don't want to
You
be
can't
tricked,
trick
but
it.
they like playfulness.
Yeah, I agree with you. They are showing something what has to be owned and learned by me, and maybe I'm not doing that enough. The kids are gifted in this way. If something is in the system is not quite working for grown-ups, it's really hard to kind of detect that harder from a grown-up. And but when the kid comes, like for example, the kid is in the plane and he's irritated, yeah, the irritation, right, is not owned. I mean, we are all irritated, but here the kid is crying on the plane. So it is seen. Or when the kid is coming from school and the teacher said that he stole something. So it's kind of a good reason to think, what's that? I mean, apart from him just being a thief, whatever, which is an easier thought, and which leads not like far. I mean, it doesn't lead anywhere. But what's that? What's that missing? So the kids are always bringing the things.
That are part of the system. Back to your original thing in the park with the family.
Yeah,
your curiosity, and then the playfulness. Well, maybe what I'm getting from this conversation is an appreciation that when somebody does something, it's not just somebody doing something. That something is connected to a whole network of somethings, and how we get those out. That's really a fantastic discussion.
Yeah, I love how you framed it. Yeah.
What else did you get?
I think you said it that if something happens, that it's not only the person. I mean, that
Yeah,
not only him to blame. That's a good way to see. I mean, that's a good old-fashioned way to see things. And 99% of the time, I also see it like that.
yeah,
1% of the time, I think, okay, but maybe it's not only him. Maybe it's something to be shared with me. Maybe if I own he or this victim, in brackets, or can be like can switch or change, and very often it happens like that. So, and with the kids, I do believe it works a lot like that in family. So if you pick that a little bit, you can sometimes, very often, see how the kid is less irritated. Yeah.
you can bring the temperature down. That's great. Amazing.
Yeah, maybe that's what parenting is all about,
Things,
like
but
learning more
learning.
about yourself through the kids. And
Yes,
actually, like expanding your capacity instead of pushing the kid more, oh, come on, stop doing that, stop being
that's
irritated.
fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Anton. Great conversation.